Hey, good afternoon, Coach. Good afternoon, everyone. We do have wireless microphones, so feel free to just grab one and we'll get it to you and you say your question to Coach. First question for Coach.
Hey, just starting with injuries right now, how is Marcus feeling? Also, Jason after the game and Rob too.
Marcus has some swelling in his ankle. Took a pretty bad sprain. Obviously finished the game, but he's going to feel it a little bit more today. He's getting worked on, getting treatment, and see how he feels tomorrow. Jason, fine. It's a stinger that went away pretty quickly, and then Rob has improved. Feels better than he did yesterday, but like I said, it's day to day, and we'll test it out tomorrow, see how he feels, and shoot around.
And looking back at the film from that game, beyond what you talked about a lot last night in terms of physicality, what else stood out in terms of what the Heat were able to do to disrupt you guys throughout the game?
The careless turnovers, obviously, scoring 33 points off our 24. I'm getting 22 more shots and 19 steals specifically. Obviously, those things stand out, and a lot were, us playing in the crowd, trying to do too much and not making the simple pass. And so when you look at those areas, we've had some good carryover at times, but at times taking a step back, and it's kind of the test or the battle we've had this year of making the simple play. And Miami's a team that loads up like Milwaukee did, like Brooklyn did. So we've seen it throughout the playoffs, and just understanding how to get our guys better looks and making quick decisions and not holding the ball, getting stagnant. So that's the main thing that stood out, is the amount of turnovers, specifically live ball turnovers for them. 19 steals, get out and run. And to be where we were, 1 point game with 2:20 left, how poorly we played in that first quarter and how many opportunities we gave them. We had 10 at halftime. We talked about that, but had 8 in the third quarter and 6 in the fourth quarter. So we got worse as the game went. Still had great opportunities. So areas we can easily clean up and look to improve on that tomorrow.
So, you've talked so much about accountability with these guys. And I wonder, when you look back, aside from what physically happened in the first quarter, just the lack of mental preparation in a game this important, after giving the same message over and over about being ready, being prepared, knowing they're going to come after you. How do you address that today? Or do you even need to at this point?
Yeah, we talked about it. We just had a good session that we looked at how physical they were, how aggressive they were at the start of the game. We were kind of caught off guard by that, but I could have done a better job coaching us, preparing us for that. I mentioned it quite a few times, but the team did as well. And so Miami, historically, since I've played against them for 10 plus years now, is they try to go harder and try to be more physical. And it wasn't, like I said, a bunch of adjustments. It's increasing their physicality. And so Marcus mentioned it before the game. Al mentioned it. I mentioned it. And so, like I said, it was a little disappointing to get caught off guard like that, with us knowing that's really what they're going to go to and what they went to in game one. And so, something we have to get better at. We saw what they did. It's similar things we do to other teams, and ways for us to attack that and kind of combat some of their aggressiveness.
Hi, Ime. Apologies if you already answered this, but Jason only took 4 shots in the second half, went without a field goal. PJ Tucker played him pretty tough, especially just what do you do to free him up? Is it something that he has to do more than he's already doing? Just how do you see that?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. But taking him off the ball some, off-ball actions always have worked well for him, whether he's a screener or some flares and things like that, because they are loading up on him every time he has the ball. But also understanding that they're guarding him like this. He's had a huge playoff series so far. Teams are going to come after him, and so for him, it's looking to get guys involved early as he makes those passes and makes those reads. The defense always loosens up on him, and he can get going himself. And so for him, the physicality was there from the start, like they've always done. PJ always does that, and he had some turnovers early, turnovers late in the second half as well when we got back in it. But also, not seeing the ball go in, started to force it a little bit there. So just finding ways to get him an easy shot early, understanding they're going to load up to him. It's 4 in the paint, 5 in the paint every time he penetrates. And so areas he's improved on this year, got to continue to trust his guys, and that'll always free it up for him. But we can move him around a little bit more, knowing that they're switching everything, showing him a crowd, and he's not going to get a lot of great looks when it's an isolation time.
How do you challenge Jason Tatum after a game like that? Do you sit down and talk with him? Do you just kind of let him sit in that disappointment? Like, how do you approach that with him specifically after a game like that?
Well, he knows he didn't play his best. We know we can play a lot better as a team. And so one thing he's always done is bounce back very well. And looking forward to that from him. Competitive guy, obviously one of the best in the league, and he understands an opportunity that was lost. And, guys aren't going to play great every night, but you can still make the right reads, and he sees how they're defending him. So I don't have to say much to him. We're all pissed off about it, and him probably more than anybody, and I'll look for a good response from him.
Yeah, I don't know if you've been asked about the turnovers, but a lot of unforced ones, especially Jalen. Is there something he can do? Because I think Oladipo at times just took the ball out of his hands. Is there something he can do to protect the ball better, improve his handle, not dribble in situations? What can he do to reduce those kind of unforced turnovers?
Yeah, not playing the crowd is the first thing. He was having success, obviously 40 points getting to the basket. And when a lot of others weren't doing as much, he took it on his shoulders. And so at times not getting sped up. He had quite a few nice passes that led to guys getting fouled under control. We want to play off 2 feet. They got some high-level guys that take charges, and so just not getting sped up for the most part. We got to improve our spacing in general, and for him, taking the onus on his shoulders because he was scoring so well and getting to the basket, he still has to understand that one dribble too many, and you're in that crowd and kind of getting sped up or falling down. And so he had some unforced ones just like everybody else, and to have 22, I think 24 of our turnovers, 22 were from our starters, and so we got to improve on that. And, they're going to have the ball in their hands a ton, and we rely on them to make the right read. And so just a dribble or two too many, and we just took a look at that, and we'll sit down and watch it with him as well so he understands.
And will you go back, if Robert's unavailable, go back to Grant in the starting lineup? I mean, Tice played 8 minutes. I mean, did you like Grant, what he was doing, and did you not like the Tice combination?
No, I mean, I wouldn't say. I think it was a collective from the start. You can't put that on Tice the way we came out and started. I think it was a little bit of everybody, their physicality more so than anything we did lineup wise. We'll take a look at that when the time comes. But like we said, we like our bigger lineups, and Tice stays in the Rob role. So some of the things that Bam did, I mean, it wasn't like he was torching Tice. And, he was going at Al, he was going at Grant a little bit. So he came out more aggressive, more so than anything. It wasn't a reflection on Daniel at all.
From Zoom, from John Corrales.
Ime, Jalen mentioned a little fatigue might have been a factor in some of the turnovers. Are you seeing fatigue being an issue with some of these guys? And if so, would you do anything minutes-wise to kind of alleviate that?
I'm not sure if fatigue played into it. Like I said, I think he got sped up, and the crowds are always going to be there. So we're just recognizing that. We ran him longer because of how well he was playing in the first quarter and how poorly we were scoring. So we did run him a little bit longer in the first quarter and kind of flipped our rotation as far as that. But what we've done a really good job of is prepping guys for these heavier minutes throughout the playoffs, and getting the timeouts when we need to get them extra rest. And so I'm not sure if he was tired and that contributed to it, but with guys being in and out a little bit, Rob, it affects other guys. Al's playing more minutes, and that's kind of what it is in the playoffs.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.